Hello everybody, this is Lara with your Monday to Friday video for Bitcoin, Ethereum and XRP on Monday the 29th of January. They're all moving higher. I had expected this pullback to find support about 38,000, 38,500. It found a low at 38,512. So that's pretty good. It's fitting the expectation. Completed a hammer candlestick, at which time I said it's most likely we're going to see upward movement, and that's exactly what we're seeing. So the target from the flag at 34,530 was too low, which is what I kept saying, and I expected it probably wouldn't get below 38,500. So let's look for next resistance at 48,000. Upward movement has some push from volume. Overall volume is declining, but this is one of the problems of these cryptocurrencies. They can be rather weak off their lows. The last few sessions, it's two upward sessions, which are stronger than downward, although this downward session for the 21st of January was stronger. We may not see a real push from volume for a few days after the low, though. That's pretty typical, unfortunately. The last signal from on-balance volume was bullish. There's no new range, no new signal, but that bullish signal helped identify that low. ADX is now declining, previously indicating a downward trend. It'll take a while for the DX lines to cross over and then the black ADX line to turn up if there is an upward trend resuming. And if that does happen, it's going to be indicated in a relatively early stage, but for now no clear trend is indicated. This is a lagging indicator here based on a 14-day 2-week average. RSI is back in neutral territory below the 50 mark, as is money flow. Plenty of room for a new trend in either direction to develop. Range is declining as price falls. It was increasing as price was moving higher, declining as price falls. Volatility is to the upside, which supports an overall, for the bigger picture, bullish analysis for Bitcoin. With no clear trend, using the model of stochastics plus support and resistance, price has bounced up off support, stochastics is moving higher. Expect price to overall continue higher to resistance and stochastics to reach overbought. Simultaneously, if at that stage ADX still says there's no clear trend, then that could be the end of the upward swing, but we'll defer to ADX in the first instance. This is the main Elliott Wave count for Ethereum. There's an overshoot of the base channel that's drawn around minute waves 1 and 2, but it's probably breached on this candlestick, but that wasn't making a new low. That was a session that was inside the session 2 sessions prior of the 23rd, so not a really convincing breach of the base channel. Base channels most often work, but not always. So only a small cause for concern for this wave count. If this is the correct wave count, then Ethereum may be in a third wave at 6 small degrees. Well, 6 degrees, a couple of them small. Minuet 3 within minute 3 within minor 3 within intermediate 3, primary 3 and cycle 3. So all of those degrees, a big third wave approaching the middle. There could be a really strong upward pull, forcing second wave corrections, at least this one here, to be more brief and shallow than they may otherwise be. Alternatively, it's still possible that wave 2, instead of being over here, may continue further as an expanded flat. A, B, C. C needs to complete a 5-wave motive structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 may not move into wave 1 price territory. A new high above 2455.87 would invalidate this wave count for the short term. I'd discard it, and then I'd rely only on the main wave count. The target for minor 3 is still the same. For this one, I'd have to calculate the target for minute 3 when I know where it begins and minute 2 is over. Very quickly, technicals on the weekly for Ethereum. There's this huge ascending triangle, an upward breakout, tests of support, starting to move up and away, another back test of support almost perfectly at that line. I'd expect price now to move up and away as most likely. The triangle target is 3347. The last completed downward week has slight push from volume, but not nearly as strong as the previous really strong upward week for week beginning 8th of January. This is extremely bullish for Ethereum. Really nice to see again an increase in volume in this market. RSI is neutral. ADX tells us there's no clear trend at this time frame, but it's not going to take much to turn the ADX line up again and again, indicate an upward trend, which is quite a long way from very extreme. Money flow is neutral. I have 2 Elliott Wave counts also for XRP. This is the main Elliott Wave count. It expects a big intermediate degree second wave correction, may be incomplete, subdividing as a zigzag. A, B, C. C must complete as a 5-wave motive structure. It may be completing as an impulse, and it may so far have a series of 1, 2, 3 overlapping first and second waves, so it needs to move through the middle of the third wave below the end of subminuet 1 at this low down here for the 3rd of January. and it has to move far enough below the end of Minuet Wave 1 to then allow Sub-Minuet 4, to unfold and not move into Wave 1 price territory, and then another downward wave for a fifth wave. Minuet 4 may not move into Minuet 1 price territory, and Minute 4 may not move into Minute 1 price territory. So quite a lot of work to do to the downside with 1, 2, 3 consolidations or bounces along the way down. This wave count, it's entirely possible. I'll wait for the alternate to be invalidated before I have really good confidence in it though. For this wave count, my price point beyond which I would discard it would be 0.6236. Within Sub-Minuet Wave 3, no second wave correction may move beyond its start above that point, so a new high by any amount at any time frame would invalidate this main Elliott Wave count in favour of this alternate. This alternate considers intermediate 2 could be over here as a double zigzag, WX. Why? The problem here, the second zigzag and the double has failed to achieve its purpose. It hasn't moved beyond the end of the first zigzag, so it's a very odd looking double zigzag. This wave count really doesn't have a very good look. In terms of Elliott Wave, it's problematic. Real quick weekly technicals for XRP. The last completed candlestick creates another hammer, so we've got 2 hammers, a dragonfly doji around this area of support. Look for next resistance again at 55 cents. The last completed candlestick, downward movement, price is falling of its own weight. So overall, I'll read the volume profile as bullish for XRP. Strongest volume by quite a wide margin is on recent upward weeks. XRP has a really nice range on balance volume, so let's watch this one carefully in coming weeks. A break below support would be a bearish signal, a break above resistance would be a bullish signal. Each of these lines has reasonable technical significance. ADX is declining, there's no clear trend at the weekly time frame for XRP, the DX lines have just crossed over. RSI is neutral, money flow is neutral. Stochastics is nearing oversold, so with ADX declining telling us there's no clear trend, this model of stochastics plus support and resistance would expect a downward swing to continue to support and for stochastics reach oversold simultaneously. Technicals on the daily, XRP's having a strong upward session, not as strong as the other two, but a fairly decent green candlestick with some push from volume. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 hammer candlestick patterns around the low here. When we see bullish candlestick or even bearish candlestick patterns form in clusters, give them more weight. This strongly suggests now that the low back here may be sustained for XRP. I'll look for resistance about 54, 55 cents along the way up. This upward session having some support from volume compared to the 2 downward sessions, but overall volume is declining as price has been mostly moving sideways. XRP has a small range on balance volume at the daily as well. No breakout, no signal, but keep an eye on this over coming days. ADX still tells us that the daily time frame there's a downward trend for XRP. It's now extreme, but a long way from very extreme. RSI is neutral. Money flow is neutral. ATR is declining as price moves sideways, and it was increasing as price was moving higher, so volatility is to the upside, so there's a bullish bias still here. And that's it for me today with your quick update for these 3. I hope everyone had a lovely weekend.